Why listening now?
Jazakallah khair.
Instead of telling me calm down, try listening. There's one Quran, but there's lots of hadiths. There's one Quran, but lots of hadiths.
Anyway, just to finish my point, that we started off, you tried to quote the Quran,
which I did.
No,
white beating
you made no. You no. You don't understand it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's clear to you.
And then you try to say that the Quran supports Zionism, and he doesn't mention it. Now here's the problem.
You're
doing it again. You're doing it again.
Returning. That's what
you have no
Zionism
authority
is.
to understand the Quran. You've got no authority to speak what the Quran says. You've got no authority because you have no understanding.
I read it, and that's all I need.
Have a fantastic day.
And you too.
Take care.
Yeah, all the best.
أسكن تريد بقرة ذلك الكتاب لا ريب هدى للمتقين. Let him read it, man. The first 5 verses. If you are sick in the heart, if you are sick in the heart, you are going the wrong motorway.
I'm not sick in the heart.
Take you somewhere else.
I'm not sick in the heart.
But like if you want to have that debate, we'll have that debate.
I like your Quran.
Yeah. Shame you don't understand it.
I understand it enough.
No, you don't.
And I see how
the
world
if you think you can beat, if you think a Muslim can beat his wife, you don't understand the Quran. Simple.
It says you can beat your wife.
I said understand it.
So do you understand the Torah better than the Quran?
Yeah.
So 1818, who's referring? Which prophet is referring to?
1818.
In the Bible.
What do you mean 1818?
Deuteronomy 1818 in the Bible.
The lesson.
Who's mentioned that?
I've memorised the entire Torah. It's a big book, not your small Quran. The Torah is 6 times larger.
What are you doing here then, man? What are you doing here?
Every day.
With you?
No, he don't listen to you. You come pick holes.
I'm not trying to convince people to follow Judaism.
Our channel's nice, it's clean. We monitor the comments and all that.
You just had a 30-minute talk about wife beating. It's not that clean.
Yes?
No, he was talking about white beating. I you can't beat your
I thought
wife.
you brought it as an example.
Sure.
No, that was an example to show he's misunderstood the verse of the Quran. And if you misunderstand that verse of the Quran, what other verses are you misunderstanding to try to use to support your argument?
Sick in the heart.
I mean, for me, I personally would never say I understand more than a Muslim.
So you must have the tool.
I do
No,
think
he's not understanding more than a Muslim.
I do think he has a good point though with the whole wife. You're saying it's not clear.
No, what I'm saying is this. Just the Quran says something. Just because it says you have to understand what it's saying to you. It's basically saying you can't beat your wife, even in a crime of passion.
But isn't that a weird way of saying it? Wouldn't it be better to say you can't beat your wife rather than you can't beat your wife? If the objective was not to beat your wife.
Okay.
Divorce her, fine, but don't beat her.
Basically, you can do this. Yeah, this is the symbolism of it.
Okay. Did everyone say that?
Yeah, so anti-Semitism.
You beat him. You beat him.
It's to show the level
He's
you're
not
at.
even your wife.
So when you admonish her, you separate from her bed. Imagine a crime of passion. You know, you can find your wife.
Give me the WhatsApp.
No, thank God.
So basically, if you come out, if it's a crime of passion, for example, incident, and you find your wife in bed with a neighbour, you admonish her. You say, "What have you fucking doing with a geezer?" Yeah. Then you have to, "I'm not sleeping in your bed anymore." Yeah. Then after that, if you're still no reconciliation, and you're still messing around, that's when the symbolic. You understand?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
That's it.
But I'm just saying it's not
it's
saying
symbolic of the next. It's symbolic of exactly what he said. After that comes talaq.
All I'm saying is it's not saying that you can't beat your wife. You can't beat your wife is really easy to express. It says you can't beat your wife. You can beat your wife.
There's only one God.
No. But you could argue the semantics of the word used as well. There are some people who. I'll give you an example. If you speak to Quran only Muslims, so these Muslims don't accept hadith. They will interpret that verse completely different. They won't even use the word beat.
I don't have a problem.
They say the Arabic word can mean something else.
So
they don't even have the issue of beating. There is no beating.
That's fine, but you understand that.
No. I understand Islam as the Prophet Muhammad taught us, and he said, with regards beating of wives, if you can't cause pain, and you can't hit the face, and you can't leave a mark, you can't beat your wife. Simple.
I get that, but I'm just saying, if the message was to beat your wife, wouldn't it have been much easier to explicitly say as a law, not as meaning something else,
but then
can't beat your
But
wife.
then what does the tap symbolise?
Pretty much nothing, actually.
No, it means after that is divorce. That's what it means. It's,
Why go straight to divorce?
because there's stages, isn't there?
Brother Hamza, can I
No,
say
I'll give you-
Brother Hamza, I want to make a really important point on this. I raised the point of the United Arab Emirates for a reason. The United Arab Emirates understand that verse differently to maybe you, and I don't know to what extent they say you can beat your wife, but they understand that verse in the Quran as meaning you can literally beat your wife if she's disobedient.
Right.
So the reason I'm saying, if the Quran was to send a much clearer message, and the message was you can't beat your wife, surely sending a verse which is unambiguous, which explicitly states you can't beat your wife, would be a...
I'll say it to you again. I'll say it to you again.
Much better.
I think you misunderstood what I said to you.
Okay, maybe I
If you see, I'm not going this definitive on the Arabic words used. If you speak to a Quran-only Muslim who rejects hadith, who just uses the Quran, that's it, they will not even see the word beat in that verse.
But wouldn't if the book was truly perfect, wouldn't it be... There's so much room for interpretation. So the United Arab Emirates believe it means you literally beat it. You mean that gentle little love tap? No, let me finish. You said that gentle little love tap you just gave me, which was quite nice. I liked it. And then you're saying Quranists
publicly.
Yeah, Quranists say that it's not even. The Quranists don't even leave this meaning. So if it was a perfect book from God, that's quite a lot of ambiguity.
No, because if I was to go definitive on it, I could take the Quranist stance. I'll use their argument that it doesn't say beat.
Quran is not clear.
And the Muhammad says you can't beat them either.
It's not clear. They're mixing it up. They're Muslims.
It is
mixing
clear.
it up.
But it's not to the United Arab Emirates.
I don't speak for them. I don't know why they've done what they've
That's
done.
what I'm saying. It's not
property to man.
I don't speak for them.
perfect book shouldn't have so much room for ambiguity.
Listen, man will do that to any book. So, for example, you're talking about fatwas.
If there was an explicit statement, not the hadith, not that it was literally with language which was universally understood. If the objective is not to beat the wife, which I think is a noble thing, not to beat a wife, then surely it should just be.
Do you think there are Muslims, if it said you can't beat your wife, you can't beat your wife at all, do you think there are Muslims who would beat their wives?
Just like you have Muslims that eat bacon, yeah, you would. But the Quran explicitly states you can't eat bacon. And they still do that, but it makes an explicit. It says an explicit thing you should do. This is something you should
beat your wife.
So that argument kind of holds ground until you say that actually a lot of the Quran is telling you what you can explicitly do and what you can't, what's halal and what's haram.
Right.
So if wife beating is haram and it should be a black and white, you can't do it. Then just say that.
No, but
It says you can beat your wife. It says you can beat your wife.
And I told you misunderstood it.
You shouldn't need. It should be clear.
Honestly, I don't know how many times I repeat. How do you understand the term symbolism? How do you understand that term? How do you understand it?
Couldn't care less.
You couldn't care less. Then you know what? You know what? Couldn't care less. I couldn't care less.
It's not a good thing.
How do you understand the term symbolism?
Symbolic of something.
Symbolic of something. Okay. So if you couldn't beat your wife, how would you symbol your close to divorce to her?
I would say that again.
What does it symbolise? What does it symbolise? The beating.
From your perspective, I imagine you're saying it's the very last straw before divorce.
Right.
But from an Emirati perspective, it could maybe be that if she hasn't, because the Quran also says a wife should obey her husband.
Right.
And they're interpreting that when she does disobey her husband, that means you can discipline her.
I'll say it to you again. Right. First thing,
I know that you believe that, and I know that Brother Hamza doesn't beat his wife either.
But I don't speak on behalf of the United Arab Emirates. I don't even know which fatwa you're talking about. I don't know who give that fatwa. I don't even know how valid it is. I don't know who accepts
it.
There's
one Supreme Council which basically sits.
Are you saying the law of United Arab Emirates is you can beat your wife? Because I think you're wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So we can pull that up. I can bring you the.
Go on then.
What's a wife beating?
What is a fatwa?
There's no law against wife beating.
Just because I don't like to make mistakes. It didn't say fatwa. What it said, they issued a ruling. So I read it in English. So I don't know if that ruling is translated as fatwa or is it translated as just a different law in the penal code.
I don't know.
It could be either. So I don't want to misrepresent Emirati law on my own. This is all on camera.
See, here's what you got to understand. If you look at the rest of the Quran, you can see how we are with our wives. We wrap ourselves in each other. Men are the twin half of women. The best of you is best of your wives, according to the Prophet Muhammad. All of these things married up, you can't beat your wife, mate, because you can't beat somebody who you're supposed to love and cherish.
Quran says you can.
Because you misunderstood it.
Quran says you can.
Because you misunderstood it.
It's not a good book,
You
then, is
think
it?
it does.
It's not a good book.
It's not my fault if you think you can interpret things when you have no ability to.
I didn't write it.
That's not my fault.
It says you can beat your
You're
wife.
attempting to understand it with no
Quran
knowledge.
should have made it clear. An important thing like that, the Quran should say.
An important thing like that, you should seek proper understanding of.
Exactly.
No.
Instead of your DIY, what suits my agenda.
God should tell you about wife beating. A thing like that.
He does. Speak to his messenger. He does.
Of all the Jews I know, by the way, he's the one with the least agenda. I don't follow the Quran. He actually has very nice things to say about Islam and the Quran, and he thinks they're potentially divine. So it's...
Yes, I believe the Quran is divine.
Someone who's maybe more on your side than
I believe the Quran is divine.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely. So is the Christian Gospel, so is the Jewish Torah. Yeah, all three were divine.
Why do you believe that?
All three.
But no,
yeah, it's all right. You don't have.
No, why do you believe that?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you believe the Christian Gospels are divine?
I personally, but I pray
No, I know you.
I pray a lot.
Alhamdulillah. So when you believe something, it means you have reason to believe it, yeah? So what's your reasons to believe the Christian?
I told you, I pray. So because I pray, I believe it.
Well, how does that make you believe it? I don't get it. What's your reason?
Oh, you don't have to believe me.
No, I'm asking. I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm asking why you believe it.
Yeah, because I pray and ask questions.
So who do you ask?
I pray.
So you're telling me you've prayed to God and said, God, are the Christian Gospels from you? Have you done that?
Yeah.
And what was the answer?
He says yes.
I'm not going to go into detail. You're going to pray it for yourself. Pray and ask it yourself.
Well, I can guess the answer is yes.
Pray and ask it
How do you know
yourself.
that's God saying yes?
Pray and ask it
How do you know that's
yourself.
God saying yes?
You don't have to believe. I believe it. You don't
No,
have
I
to
understand you.
believe it.
Listen, I'm not questioning what you believe. I'm asking why you believe it.
Yeah, I believe it.
No, but I'm asking
So I
why.
believe my prayer, the answers I get the prayer.
Because you make it.
I believe the answers I get.
I said,
Yeah, but they shouldn't put the claims out there.
told you. I told you clearly.
put it out. I volunteered that information.
No.
for
What
you.
he said, he believes the Christian Gospels are divine. I'm asking him
Yes.
why he says that.
Yes.
But I assume for the same
I can
reason.
understand why he believes
I
the Quran
told
is
you.
divine.
I pray and I get answers. You could pray and get
Who
answers.
do you pray to?
Yeah, God.
How do you know it's God answering?
You don't have to believe me. I
didn't
just
know.
told you. I believe it. You don't have to.
How do you know it's God?
Because I just. Maybe I'm
follow?
wrong.
You don't know.
I believe it's God. No, I do. I do.
You don't know.
I do
You
know.
think it is.
I do know.
Can I come back, because we're kind of like no one's
many
really
circles.
answering these questions. I think the most important point that's come out of this conversation, for me, I found it really interesting, was the purpose of law. So in the Jewish Old Testament and the Torah, the laws are really explicit, and they're kind of, the rabbis have some influence on how they're interpreted, but basically, if the Torah says you can do something, it's permissible. If it says you can't do something, it's not permissible. If it doesn't say anything, then legal positivism says you can do it. In Islam, we're saying there's a verse in the Quran, and it's really interesting for me. I'm genuinely interested in this. It says that the verse that says you can beat, or unless you're a Quranist, then it means something else. But that actually means the actual opposite of what the verse is saying.
Yes.
So that, for me, is really interesting, and it doesn't seem...
Look into it.
It's only because if you look at the context,
You've got to you can look into it. Look at the tafsir about it. Look at the hadith with regards
Well,
it.
I'm listening to them.
Yeah,
I'll read it later.
and that's how you understand the Quran.
So, for instance, could somebody interpret the verse where it says you can't eat everything from the sea? Actually, it's a great example. In the Torah, it says that you can't eat anything from the sea unless it has fins and scales. Yeah, almost all streams of Islam, with the exception of Hanafi, say that actually everything from the sea is lawful, because that's what the Quran says. The Quran says everything in the sea is lawful unto you. So could we exist in a world where actually that verse could mean the complete opposite, and it actually means that you can't eat everything from the sea?
Depends whether or not the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ elaborated on that verse.
So, because the Hanafi, I believe the Hanafi say that you can only eat what the Jews eat, basically.
so they avoid selfish and these sorts of things.
Which is what the Jews do.
Yeah.
Is that coming from a hadith?
No, but here's the thing you've got to understand.
It's just-
Do you understand schools of fiqh?
Yeah,
How they work?
yeah.
You understand Abu
Not how they work, but I understand.
No, but you understand, like, for example, Hanafi fiqh may not be
Yeah.
from Abu Hanifa.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
Say again?
The school of what Hanafi might teach now may not have come from Abu Hanifa. You understand that? It's a school.
I understand that things can evolve along the way and things can come in and corrupt something. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is, if you can go to Hanafi fiqh
Yeah.
and find polar opposites on the same issue.
Okay. And you're saying because those polar opposites exist, only one of them can be right. Is that, am I keeping up with you? Sorry, you're moving.
No, I'm just giving you an example if you're trying to go that definitive. So, for example, let's say in Hanafi fiqh they say you can't eat shellfish, you can't eat lobster, you can't eat crabs. Mike, sir. The mic, sir? Oh, is it? Oh, where's that cheeky scamp? Is that yours?
Yeah.
Oh, my idiot. I took mine off.
He's selling the audio. I'll get you a good deal.
No, I took it off.
£10, 20. I'll cut you a 10%.
Huh?
He got only one. He has two.
I've got it in my pocket. I'd finished with them. I didn't know he was going to start going on about flipping shellfish.
No. The only reason I brought it up is because
Look at this. Anyway, so what I was saying. So, like I said to you, just as I would question United Arab Emirates if they've actually said you can beat your wife, I would question in Hanafi fair. Why do you, if the Quran says you can eat what's in the sea, why do you go against that and think you can't eat prawns and that? I understand the rationale.
Great. Can we just pause that, because that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
So if you can understand, you question the Hanafi of why they can say actually you can't eat these food when the Quran explicitly says you can. Does that not apply to wife beating?
No, because what they might have
No,
done...
because this just let me...
No,
because what you're saying is...
Because the Prophet ﷺ was definitive on it.
So you're saying because a hadith exists which says you can beat your wife?
No, the hadith says...
No, the hadith says you can beat, but it gives constraints.
Which you can't...
The Quran says you can beat, but you're saying the message
What
of
type
the
of...
Quran... Can I just finish? Can I just, please, I've listened patiently. You're saying that the message behind that Quran is that you can't beat your wife. That was what you said. That's what you had the huge debate about. You said the purpose of that verse...
No. What did I say?
Okay, maybe I misunderstood.
I said he implied the Quran doesn't set a limit to regards the beating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means if someone just reads the Quran and they think they can beat your wife, they think they could beat your wife as much as you like.
Did I mishear you? Because I thought you said, maybe I misheard, and it'll be on camera, but did you say the purpose of that verse was to show that you can't beat your wife? Because that was what I was arguing
That's
with.
not the purpose.
Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry, I probably misunderstood.
You implied that. No, basically what I'm saying to you is this. If the Quran says you can beat your wife, right, and somebody disused the Quran and they interpret it as he interprets it, if he ever became a Muslim, he thinks he can beat his wife, for example.
I don't.
Right, okay. Well, you just said you did.
I wouldn't become a Muslim and I wouldn't beat my wife.
No, you just said you could, though, according to the Quran.
Oh, I could.
So what did I just say?
I could,
so I just
but
said,
I wouldn't.
So what did I just say?
So I would.
I just said, if he became a Muslim, he would believe the Quran allows him to beat his wife, if he chooses to, as much as he likes. All right, because there's no limit to it. It doesn't say stop here, stop there. All right.
Well, maybe he believes that that's up to the individual. The same way that slavery is
and like I said to
Judaism and
you,
Islam.
so then according to the individual, if they catch their wife in bed with a neighbour and they know they're allowed to beat their wife's going to get battered if there's no limit to it. Yeah. But in Islam, because of the teachings of Muhammad ﷺ with regards to that verse about the beating, no hits in the face, no causing pain, no leaving a mark, that's no beating. So a man is not at liberty then to beat his wife as he likes. Yeah? Basically the Prophet ﷺ used the word, it's funny, someone just give me a miswak. It says it's like using a miswak.
Yeah.
This is a miswak.
But they used to be a bit bigger than that as well.
Maybe a little bit. Now, if I was to beat you with this, and I can't cause you pain, I can't hit you in the face, nor can I leave a mark.
If it was like that little gentle stroke you gave me before, then definitely.
So
not.
if I can't hit the face, because I can't poke you in the face, right? I can't leave a mark, nor can I cause you any pain. Can you define that as a beating?
How far can you possibly go?
So it's
right? Can you or not?
So what's the reason? The question is, what's the reason for the
I agree. If
right.
Following the hadith,
right. So what will this then? What will this be then?
No, I'm not arguing.
What will it be?
Be like final warning.
To be honest, if I did that to my wife when she was really annoyed at me, that would probably result in me.
Now here's the thing: Now here's the funny thing. There's no prohibition on women beating their husbands. You know that, don't you? Anyway, right? You know, I think Egyptian men are the most abused men in the world. You know that? They say that, innit? Egyptian men, their wives beat them, man.
Statistics coming out of Egypt, the Tahrir Square and things like that. I question.
I wouldn't believe all that either.
It's one of the most abusive countries.
I'll say it again to you: the most abused husbands in the world are in Egypt. Okay, just so you're aware of that. Okay. So what could this be?
Women feminists watching this, please message me with those statistics.
Okay. So what could this be? Nothing more than I'm letting you know. You're at your limit with me, and anything like this again, we're finished.
To be honest, that's a little bit weird. If I'm in a huge debate with my wife, we're really like, she's
no, it's got to be on that. It's got to be on that.
Everything, and then I get my little toothpick out.
No, don't forget.
No.
So here's the problem. You see, you've ignored the steps. This is what prevents a crime of passion. You see, first thing, you can admonish her. What you do?
You discuss with her
what's going on,
which takes time,
right?
You know,
and then you separate yourself from her bed, so you don't sleep in the same bed as her now.
It's not just one off.
And then,
over time.
And then, now you know.
Truthfully, like with the greatest respect, and I don't mean to disrespect Islam here, but if I'm in like a huge thing about she's been cheating on me, she's stealing all my money, we've sat down, we've had a serious talk, and like I'm in tears, she's in tears, and then I pull out my toothpick and stroke her arm. That's a little bit weird.
Okay.
Statistically,
Did I say to you, you have to pull out a toothpick? No.
I thought that's what this was.
No, I said I likened it to it. Likened it.
I like that you carried this round, by the way.
I just got someone give it to me today, alhamdulillah. I'm glad they give it to me.
I was going to say, I hope this is
so people can see the beating that we can give. All right. That's just to symbolise. It doesn't say use a. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say in the hadith, go get a miswak and use a miswak. You see, he likened, that's the heaviness of it. That's the lightness of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So that's that. So we know the Prophet ﷺ has gone definitive on wife beating. So there's no. Now, if someone wants to come and say you can beat your wife excessively, you can give her black eyes, you can punch her in the face, you can cause pain, I want to know why they're ignoring the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ.
Can I ask a question? Because
Wait 1 second. No,
Okay,
no,
so-
no,
okay,
no more
can I ask a
questions right now.
question?
No more questions
Okay.
right now. Okay, no more questions right now.
he's going to bring out the toothpick in a minute.
No, you're not my wife. Don't worry about that, mate.
It's a
All right?
shame because
Don't need no toothpicks with you, mate.
We
I'm only
make
joking, I'm
beautiful
only joking.
children. We
Ah,
make
there we are.
beautiful
So anyway,
children.
I think there'd be ginger in it. Anyway, so basically, that's that. So there is no other way to really look at that verse.